Hey friends, imagine you're scrolling through an endless list of gaming rigs, trying to decide if you should finally upgrade from that old laptop that wheezes every time you launch a new title. I've been in that spot more than once, and the biggest fear is ending up with a machine that looks impressive on paper but ends up costing you more time and money than it saves. If you're wondering whether the Skytech Gaming Legacy 4 is the right fit before you click Add to Cart, stick with me for a few minutes. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Legacy 4 is marketed as an all-in-one high-end gaming desktop, and the headline specs that Intel Ultra 7 270K hitting 5.4 GHz, an RTX 5080 with 16 GB of GDDR7, a full terabyte of Gen4 NVMe storage, and 32 GB of DDR5 RAM sounds like future-proofing on steroids. But real-world buying decisions hinge on more than just a billboard of numbers. The main question is, will this machine actually feel smooth in the games you play, and will it fit into the lifestyle and budget you have? Let's break down who will get the most out of this setup. If you're a serious PC gamer who spends a good chunk of your week in titles that push the graphics envelope, think Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K, Flight Simulator, or the latest ray-traced releases, the RTX 5080 paired with a 5.4 GHz Intel Ultra 7 is basically a match made in silicon heaven. The 16 GB VRAM ensures you won't run into texture limits even when you crank ultra settings, and the 32 GB DDR5 RAM gives you enough headroom for heavy multitasking, like streaming while you game. The 1TB Gen4 SSD also slashes load times dramatically. I've seen benchmarks where open-world maps load in under 10 seconds, which feels like a genuine quality-of-life upgrade over a standard SATA drive. On the flip side, if your gaming habit leans toward indie titles, esports staples, or older games that don't demand massive GPU horsepower, this beast might be overkill. You could probably get comparable performance for those titles with a mid-range RTX 4070 and a more modest CPU, saving you a couple $100. That's the first group you might want to skip, players who aren't planning to push ultra settings at 1440p or 4K, or who aren't interested in VR. In those cases, the headline spec sheet looks impressive, but the extra cost won't translate into noticeable gains. Now let's talk practicality. The system ships pre-built, which is a huge relief for anyone who's never assembled a PC. The AIO liquid cooler is already installed, and Skytech claims it delivers unmatched cooling performance. From what you can glean from the thermals listed, the AIO should keep the Ultra 7 under 70°C even under sustained load, meaning you won't hear that high-pitched fan whine that some air-cooled rigs produce. In day-to-day use, that whispers quieter room temperature, which is a nice bonus if your gaming space doubles as a living area or a home office. Connectivity is solid, too. The built-in Wi-Fi 6, 802.11ax, gives you fast wireless bandwidth, which is handy if you don't run a wired Ethernet connection. For a typical modern game that streams assets, that can shave a second or two off latency compared to older Wi-Fi standards. However, the system only offers a single HDMI output and one other graphics output, likely DisplayPort. If you've been dreaming of a triple monitor setup, you'll need to verify that the RTX 5080 model you receive includes enough ports, or consider adding a cheap splitter. That's a small, but real, limitation for power users. One hidden trade-off is the PSU. The 850W gold-rated ATX 3.0 unit is definitely capable of handling the power draw, but it's also a bit heavier and louder under peak load than some smaller, boutique units. Most people won't notice it unless they're pushing the GPU to 100% for extended periods, like during intense benchmarking, but it's something to be aware of if you're sensitive to ambient noise. The good news is the gold rating means you're getting good efficiency, so it won't waste electricity like some cheap brick power supplies. Another area that often catches buyers off guard is the Windows 11 installation. Skytech ships the machine with a clean OS install, which means you won't deal with bloatware. But you'll still need to spend a little time tweaking settings like disabling unnecessary telemetry services or calibrating your display profile for that perfect gaming picture. If you're comfortable diving into the OS, that's a non-issue. If you'd rather have a machine that's ready out off the box with every game already optimized, you might find the post-setup steps a slight inconvenience. Let's put this into a daily scenario. Imagine you've got a typical work-from-home schedule. You start the day on video calls, then unwind with a 2-hour gaming session after dinner. With the Legacy 4, you could spin up a fresh instance of a demanding title like Elden Ring, jump straight into the game, and have the loading bar disappear in a blink. The system's 32GB RAM means you could also have Chrome tabs, a music streaming app, and